Story 3 was one of those rare films that ended a trilogy so perfectly. It perfectly capped off what had been, at that time, 15 years worth of films. The ending to 3 was so perfect and so effectively wrapped up the story and arcs of Buzz, Woody, Andy, and the rest of the gang that a fourth installment not only seemed unnecessary, but largely unwanted by most fans. So when Toy Story 4 did get announced, many fans, myself included, were skeptical at best and negative at worst. Toy Story 4 had the lofty task of not just justifying its own existence, but crafting a story that could follow the perfect ending of 3 and follow through on its overall themes and narratives that seemed pretty wrapped up with a bow on top. Well, not only did Toy Story 4 do all of that, it also managed to do so in what is one of the best entries in the franchise and one of the best animated films in recent memory. Toy Story has always been a franchise not afraid to ask big questions of its audience, be they young or old. Loss, identity, growing up, finding where you belong, all of these themes are built into the core of what made Toy Story the massive success it is today, using these toys to tackle very real and very human questions. Toy Story 3 was all about growing up, and Toy Story 4 seems to be more about moving on and how that can mean different things for different people. While the ending of 4 may not reach the heights of 3, it comes pretty close, and is more than enough to give it more emotional heft and weight than I had felt in any other film this year by a long shot. The story this time focuses mostly on Woody, the new toy, Forky, and Bo Peep, who had been absent from the franchise for quite some time. Bo Peep didn't have much of a personality to speak of before, but this time around that has completely changed, as her time away from Andy's room has made her into a mix of Lara Croft and Furiosa, turning her into a completely different and extremely compelling and likable character. Forky is a new toy created by the gang's new owner, Bonnie, from the end of 3, and is having trouble coming to terms with his newfound sentience. 4 goes to some pretty dark places with its humor, but does so in a way that is neither blatant or obtuse, leaving the more mature undertones to its themes and humor left to its audience to find for themselves. Speaking of the humor, Toy Story 4 may be the funniest entry in the series, thanks in no small part to the comedy duo of Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele as the stuffed animals Ducky and Bunny, respectively. I could see some people getting tired of Key and Peele's trademark shtick over the course of the film, but their chemistry is so well refined from years of working together, and they are used just enough to feel welcome and not overbearing in my book. The standout of the film, though, is Keanu Reeves' Canadian stuntman Duke Kaboom, who steals every scene he is in and is going to sell a lot of actual toys for Disney once the film releases worldwide next week. The film's main antagonist, Gabby Gabby, is equal parts menacing and sympathetic and breaks the mold from most Disney and Pixar antagonists by being just that and not simply a villain. Gabby's reasons for her actions are not only sympathetic and relatable, but heartbreaking, and takes the character in a direction you would not see based on just her first appearance that felt completely earned emotionally and justified narratively. Pixar has always been on the cutting edge of animation, and even the studio's worst films still look visually great, and Toy Story 4 is a leap beyond what the studio has done before by a great order of magnitude. Textures like felt, porcelain, plush, and stitching are rendered with an absurd level of realism, so much so that you feel like you could touch these toys just by looking at them. There are also lots of great moments of character within the animation as well, like Bo Peep's sheep sharing their 3 heads like a comical version of King Ghidorah from Godzilla, and lots of other small details that help every character feel more fully realized and the world more fully fleshed out. A lot of these characters don't have as much screen time as you would think, since the film chooses to focus on its main group of 5 or 6 characters, so characters like Buzz don't show up as much as you think they would. That isn't to say they're ignored or not used well, the film just chooses to point its camera at the specific characters directly engaged in the story more than others, and it works for the film's benefit in the end. Thankfully, Toy Story 4 is more Toy Story 3 and less Monsters University, as far as Pixar sequels go, and the same love and care that has permeated this franchise since the beginning is still intact and helps it deliver the same charm, humor, whimsy, and fun that the best of Pixar and Disney overall is known for. Toy Story 4 does not have a post-credit scene, but it does have a very good joke at the end with a nice payoff that I highly recommend staying the extra few minutes for. We give Toy Story 4 a 10 out of 10. Go by yourself, take the girlfriend, take the boyfriend, take the kids, take the grandparents, take your dog, your cat, everybody. It's going to be a good time for everyone at the theater. My name is Kevin, this is the Esports Channel. Thanks for watching, and GG.